Imagine completing an entire month's worth of work in literally 7 days. But not only do you get way more free time to do other things that you want, but you actually get a way better result if you were to just spend an entire month doing the work. You wouldn't be shackled to your monitor for 12 hours a day every single day, barely completing any work and keep on getting distracted with YouTube and stuff like this. Well, the thing is, this is actually insanely easy to achieve, and I'm surprised nobody is doing this. And if you simply apply these 3 lessons that I did myself, you will change your life, because the exact same thing happened to me. And it's kind of sad to see 99% of the population can't even work for 5 minutes without getting distracted. Anyway, that's another video. But before I go into everything about the system that I'm about to show you, I just want to tell you a quick story. You see, it's around 7 AM. and I'm sitting at the dining table with my laptop in front of me. I'm typing away on my keyboard knowing damn well I'm not doing any work whatsoever. All I'm doing is replying to some emails, just watching content like, yeah, let's go and watch the next Chris Williamson podcast, right? And I would usually sit at that dining table for around 10 hours every single day. Sometimes I'll be sitting there for 12 hours working on a business model I hated. I'm actually trying to work non-stop 7 days a week on this business while in school, while trying to go to the gym at the same time. And you can probably guess that my brain is not having it, because I remember a specific moment when I was doing this task for my business. So I was probably outreaching to like some potential clients that I'm trying to work with, right? I'm just sending a ton of random messages to fitness coaches, trying to work with them for my copywriting services. And I remember I was having such a bad day with outreach. Like, I did around 50 outreaches. Every single person either left me on scene, and that's like the worst thing that can happen, bro. They've seen your message but they haven't even bothered to reply to it, or they've literally just told you to go away. And as I kept on doing these outreaches, I honestly just started crying, bro. The amount of stress and just mental torture I went through just to like get one client for my business was insane. I literally started to lack social skills simply because I would sit at my desk for 10 to 12 hours a day, literally becoming a subhuman. And eventually got so bad, I would literally sacrifice my sleep to do more work. Now this period lasted for around 6 months, when I would just try to do lots of work, right? I would sit there for probably 8 hours a week, just sitting at the dining table, trying to work on my business, right? But that was until I realized the power of productivity. And over the next few months, this is where things start to get insanely strange, because I would sit there for around 4 to 6 hours a day. I wasn't working as much, but I would see so much more results in my business. And during this period, I finally got my first client, and it's weird now that I look back, because a lot of people tell you to like work for 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. They simply just systemize their life like I did. They would be able to have so much more free time, but get so much more results at the same time. And be honest, bro, you can probably relate to what I'm saying right now. You probably wake up, you maybe wake up early before school, you just try to grind all day, you come home from school or work, go straight to the laptop, but the thing is your work is not even focused. You're scrolling on YouTube, you're going on Instagram every 5 minutes, and you can't stop yourself. You have no self-control. And this is why I really wanted to make this video, because I know you're probably really struggling with productivity. You're struggling to do the work, and all of your day literally just consists of you working for 5 minutes and then going on YouTube, and you get no tasks done in the day. Well, this is all going to change, okay? And just before I go into the system, I just want to say, if you want to join my Discord in the description, get access to a ton of free resources, get personal advice from me, click the first link in the description, okay? Let's get into it. The first thing I did to transition my productivity to literally completing 1 month of work in 7 days is reading about something called the flow. Now, you've probably heard this word before, but you probably don't know what it means. A flow is when you're in a state of uninterrupted work or doing a habit, right? Like, it literally feels like time is flying past you. So as an example, let's just say like you're playing video games with your friends. You probably relate to this. Every single time you play with them, time just speeds up so much, and before you know it, you spend like 3 hours playing video games. But the really great thing about this is we can replicate this same feeling when we're in a flow, where we're actually enjoying the work we're doing into our work. Literally just imagine how sick it would be if you literally felt you were working for 30 minutes, but you check the time and it's like been 5 hours. You've done 5 hours of focused work. So to actually get into this flow state, there's 3 things I do. And the first thing is to make your environment the best it can be. So I'm talking no distractions, like throw your phone out the window if you have to, throw your PS5 out the window, whatever you have to do to get rid of your distractions, do it. But just try to make every single distraction, like your phone, social media, super hard to get into. So you could log out the apps, you can turn your phone off and put it in another room, you can tell your family member to have your phone for like a few hours. But the reason why this is so important is because if the work is not filling your attentional space, and you've got random things like you've got Mr. Beast there, you're not going to be able to get into a flow state. You're going to keep on getting distracted. And this links on to the second thing I do to get into a flow state, And that is to realize your brain takes the path of least resistance. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, just think to your life. You've probably got systems in place that make it super easy to do something. You know, humans are evolving to be like the laziest creatures ever because, you know, we've got bloody Amazon delivery, we've got music, we've got content, we've got the internet, right? We can do anything with literally just a click of our fingers. Everything is easier than ever. And we all wonder why we cannot stay productive and focused. But the thing is, if we just make the work the most stimulating thing in our environment, we will work for so much longer. We'll be able to get into a flow state like easily. This is exactly why I've been able to work so hard consistently every single day. It's simply because I don't care about YouTube, I don't care about Instagram, I don't care about video games, bro. All I care about is, you know, working. But once you actually reach the state where you can get into a flow, you realize how fun work is. It may seem really boring right now, but literally just take my advice. If you can get into a flow state, you will not want to get out of it because you will become addicted to the work. Now, the third and final thing I do to get into a flow state is make the work fill out the attentional space that way it's currently in. So I already mentioned what the attentional space is. It's kind of like the space that holds our maximum attention. So hopefully right now this video is the only thing in your attentional space. Maybe you've got music playing in the background, maybe you've got the comments open, even though there's literally none. To actually get into a flow state, we need to make the work the only thing in our attentional space, and we do that by reducing distractions. We do that by perfecting our environment, perfecting our diet, so we know we don't have like lots of carbs before we work that, you know, cause brain fog. There's so many different pillars of productivity, like your diet, like your environments, like distractions, like your internal state, your belief systems. And if one of these things is holding you back, then everything else won't work. So what we want to do is make the habit or the work we're trying to do the only thing in our attentional space. So what really works for me is I like to have some ambience in the background. This blocks out all the sounds that might distract me, like, you know, some guy driving a Lamborghini down the road, right? That one annoying bird that keeps on making random noises. Like, if you really want to make this work, what you can do right now is just draw a circle, right? And draw everything right now that is in your attentional space. So you can pinpoint what's in your attentional space. If you've got a YouTube tabs open, if you've got, I don't know, Discord open, you've got random things that shouldn't be open when you're trying to work, literally just get rid of them, and then you'll be able to get into a flow. Now, the flow is very important, but it's not as important as this next point because this kind of ties onto it. It's something called habit stacking, and if you've read Atomic Habits by James Clear, you probably already know what this is. But another really good way we can get into a flow is by stacking habits onto each other. And basically what this is, maybe like when we wake up, we have a clear routine of what we do. We go and brush our teeth, we do stretching, we do 10 push-ups, and then we instantly just go and do work. Well, if we keep on doing that, if we keep on stacking the habits on each other, right? Like 3 to 4 habits onto one habit, we'll be able to get into a flow because, you know, our brain gets into this productive mood and we're able to just do so many more tasks because it, you know, it feels good. The way I like to think of like a routine and, you know, habit stacking is just like a TV show. If you've ever seen like SpongeBob or anything, they've all got the same intro, they've all got the same story like structure, right? Every single time it's always the same, and the reason why they do this is because, you know, humans love familiarity. We love seeing the same thing over and over again. So what I want you to do right now is just like think to one habit in your life, whether that's deep work, whether that's you waking up. Obviously, we know that's another thing that is probably a habit every single person possesses, right? But tomorrow, I want you to try stacking on at least like 2 to 3 habits. So maybe when you wake up, you say to yourself, you're going to meditate for 5 minutes. And then once you've done your meditation, maybe you do like breath work or something. Maybe you go and brush your teeth and then like do some deep work. The point is, if you can like stack habits onto each other for a consistent time period, you will get into a flow much easily. And I didn't really say this at the start, but to actually turn 1 month of work into 7 days, all we have to do is consistently get into a flow. That's all we have to do. Because when you get into a flow, the work you produce is so much more efficient and you waste no time doing it. So I'm going to move on to the last point, and you know, I kind of thought of this myself and I think you're going to really like it. But this is something called the video game stats method. But what I started to do is I started to order the work in my day in order of importance. So it's kind of like task prioritization. You've probably heard me say that before, but the reason why I like to do this is because if you think of like a video game, in like RPG games, you have like a list of stats, like you've got speed, you've got strength, you've got agility, you've got dexterity or something like that, right? And you've got all these stats, but you don't really know which one to do first. You don't really know which one's the most beneficial. Usually the best one in video games is defense or it's damage. That's usually the best ones, right? I always go with damage, bro. Well, it would make sense to literally just put all your skill points onto damage and then level the other things up. So like, to actually apply this to productivity, I just want you to think like, what is the most important thing that will give you the most results? And I want you to do that work as soon as you wake up. So if you've done like your habit stacking and you know you've got into a bit of a flow, do that piece of work, because I guarantee if you do that, you will see much more results. Like for me, I always know the most important work for me is I have to record this video. I always have to record a video as soon as I wake up, because that is like the most mentally draining task for me. And if you're struggling to actually order your day in order of importance, literally just order it in importance of your goals. So for example, for me, the most important goal for me right now is business. And then after that, it's the gym, it's fitness, right? After that, it's school, because I don't really care about school, to be honest. But maybe for you, it might be different. Maybe school is your #1 priority, so you have to do that as soon as you wake up. The reason why I'm telling you to do this is because the reason why most people can't be productive is because they spend most of their time thinking about what to do, worrying about that big tasks that they've missed out at the start of the day, so they just don't be productive, they procrastinate, right? But if they simply complete that task, they free up all that energy so they can focus on other things and actually get into a flow. So this is the entire system I used to actually complete 1 month of work in 7 days. And like I said at the start, if you want to join the Discord and get access to a ton of free resources and get personal results for me, click the first link in the description, okay? Goodbye, have a nice day, you're going to own in the face again, goodbye.